people, listen up.
Why Mexicans should not use the N-word. Because Emiliano Zapata was part black. Because Lupita Nyong'o was born in Mexico. Because Indian and black runaway slaves formed quilombos that fought off slave hunters for decades. Because they fill their prisons with black and brown bodies just like they did their ships. The criminal justice system is the new middle passage. Police brutality, the new genocide. Because Vicente Guerrero, the first black president in North America, threatened war against the United States if they tried capturing any runaway slave in Mexico. Because La Bamba was an African song sung by slaves in the fields of Veracruz. Hermano, I like hip hop too.
Now guys, welcome back to this episode. Now, today's video, I want us to talk about the Latinos being tired of racism in their community. For generations, Latinos in the United States have carried the weight of history. From bracero workers exploited in the year 1940s to the Chicano movement fighting for education and land rights in the year 1960s and 1970s. And to the communities targeted by police brutality and systemic discrimination today. Yet, in their efforts to fit into the white society, many Latinos have turned away from the struggles of black Americans. They have neglected centuries of oppression and injustice, rarely attending black protests or black movements, often staying silent when solidarity was mostly needed. Now, a new wave of furious Latinos is now rising, man. They are sick and tired of silence, tired of allowing bias, colorism, and racism to continue unchecked within their community and society at large. They are calling each other out, demanding accountability, demanding for unity, and unearth racism wherever it hides.
Because you're an illegal, and you know what? You don't live in Flower Mound, and you're door dashing. You know what? Why are you entitled to be here with an illegal car? Hey, you're taking away jobs. Let me see your driver's license.
Your police?
Huh?
Your police? You is homophobic?
No, speak English?
Yeah.
Well, then speak it.
But why?
But why? You know what? You're in Flower Mound. You know what? Go speak your language back in Mexico.
Amigos, qué triste lo que le acaba de suceder a una trabajadora latina que estaba haciendo un delivery de Walmart. Esta mujer se acercó a ella, la comenzó a insultar con palabras racistas, le dice que porque habla español, le dice que es ilegal, que está manejando un carro ilegal, enoja porque está hablando español, le dice que no tiene que hablar español, y lo más triste de esto, que le comienza a pedir su identificación, le dice que le dé su licencia, a lo cual la muchacha le dice, no eres policía, no te lo voy a dar. Pero escuchen bien, amigos, qué lamentable, le dice que le está quitando los trabajos a los blancos. Gracias a Dios, amigos, ya sabemos quién es esta persona. Aquí les vamos a dejar su página de Facebook por si la quieren pasar a saludar. Qué lamentable que esta muchacha haya pasado por este momento tan terrible, amigos. La verdad que es muy, muy triste. Miren este video hasta el final.
You know what? Because you're an illegal, and you know what? You don't live in Flower Mound, and you're door dashing. You know what? Why are you entitled to be here with an illegal car?
Racism started with black people, and I understand black people being racist against Asians and Latinos, but you can't be racist against whites because, you know, they're white. Listen, I don't know how old you are, but the idea that racism only just started 400 years ago and only against black people is absurd. And I feel like there's a lot of Native Americans that would agree with me. But that idea has to originate from 13-year-olds with bad history teachers and people that are too lazy to make something out of themselves, but it couldn't possibly be them. They have no accountability, so they have to blame it on something. And what's easier to blame it on than racism? Newsflash, nobody cares about your skin color.
For years, many Latinos have faced discrimination from outside communities, schools, workplaces, and society at large. But the fight doesn't stop there. Now, many are now turning the lens inwards, addressing colorism, stereotypes, and prejudice within their own neighborhoods and families. Let's dive to some clips here, then come back and have a talk.
A lot of people don't understand when I say that Mexicans are culturally racist. They think that I'm calling us openly racist. we are culturally racist, and this is how. Part of our culture is to frown upon dark-skinned people. It's been passed down to us by the Spaniards, by our colonizers, by the people that conquered us, taught us that dark skin is inferior, light skin is superior. We were taught that. It was passed down to us, meaning it's part of our culture. We are culturally racist in this aspect. That doesn't mean I go out in the streets and want to hurt black people because they're black.
Right, right.
It means that our teachings, the way we're raised, is that we are raised to subconsciously believe that dark skin is inferior and light skin is superior. Another element in our Mexican culture is Univision News, Univision channel. That channel is run by white Latinos. The ideologies and subliminal teachings that they teach is very similar to Fox News. White supremacist-ish. They make efforts to depict dark-skinned people as criminals. That whenever they even bother sharing news about dark-skinned people is when they do something wrong. But yet, when they want to mention anything that has to do with light-skinned people, specifically white people, is to depict them as them doing good deeds around the world, feeding the homeless, etc. You get it.
Yeah.
My grandmother was visiting one day from Mexico. She's never lived in the United States. She has no idea what life is out here. She was watching Univision News, where they depicted a black American committing a crime. She turned around and said, "Oye, estos negros solo estorban, ¿verdad? Hey, these black folks, all they do is get in the way, huh?" Here's the interesting part. She's never met a black person in her life. She has no idea what it's like to interact with a black person, but yet she already has an opinion about black people as a whole. Why? Because part of our culture, in this particular case, Univision News, since we were children, we have been subliminally taught the blacks are bad, criminals, etc. And whites are good, decent, giving, saviors, etc. We're taught that. Hearing her express such a hateful remark about a people that I knew for a fact she's never even interacted with. You don't even know a black person. How dare you come here to this country and have a whole opinion about these people? I resented her deeply for it. I regret it because you can't hate her for that. She never got the opportunity to learn what you have. I got the privilege of learning things that I self-taught. Since she's been a child, she's been working in the fields. Never had the opportunity to sit and read a book to educate, nothing. All she ever has to teach her anything was this racist, biased news program. How could I blame her? She doesn't even know any better. And even if I sat with her today, I don't even think I could help her understand at this point. Because she has lived 80 years worth of only understanding this mentality. A lot of people go to their graves thinking this is normal.
As a lot of you know, I belong to both the Mexican indigenous and black communities. I haven't said anything about the black community choosing to sit out, but me personally, I can't and I haven't been. I can feel my ancestors breathing down my neck, and I know they face down challenges far greater than anything that I could ever imagine. So for me to sit out in this moment in the face of fascism, where we're about to lose all of the rights that my ancestors dedicated their entire lives fighting for so that I could exist with even a sliver of freedom, would be a huge slap in their face. On the other hand, I'm so ashamed, disappointed, and above all, seething with anger at those Mexican and Latino MAGAs who helped bring us to this point. The low down dirty betrayal of November 5th is unforgivable. On top of that, we still have some disrespectful Latinos antagonizing the black community and even using the N-word.
I put my dick on your plate, nigga. Fuck your family, fuck your kids, nigga.
That nigga right there.
Do you go to Kava?
Yeah, you do, nigga. Stop paying.
So I understand why y'all don't want to go out and protest with their disrespectful, backstabbing asses. I get it. I also keep hearing people say this is not our fight, which I disagree with, although it's definitely a fight that we really tried so hard to avoid. It's a fight that we did not want, but sadly, we are here now. As much as you keep telling yourself this is not your fight, it is. Everything that our Third Reich government is doing negatively impacts black people, even the ICE raids. Black people are also being hunted by ICE and getting deported. As someone who belongs to both communities, I am feeling the pain from both sides. The grief, the rage, the exhaustion, all of it. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. You need to sit this out to protect your peace. Sit it out. You want to protest? Go protest. If your way of fighting looks different, like donating, educating, boycotting, organizing quietly, do that. You do what is right in your spirit. This was just weighing on me so heavily, and I just wanted to get it out. I hope everyone enjoys your day, and I hope that you all are taking care of your mind, body, and spirit during these Hunger Games.
All right, this message is for my brown people. And although us black folks decided to stick this one out because we did try to warn y'all at the polls, we do see that it's fucked up. California is a blue state. 66% of Latinos in California voted against Trump, but it's not enough. You got to work on your people that hate us. Then you got to rally your people because they hate you like they hate us. And don't tell me this is not about race. There's over 500,000 undocumented immigrants in America from Poland or Russia or Germany, the UK, Italy, Ireland, all over Eastern Europe. But they not joining the protest because they not being targeted. America has always been obsessed with race. You burglarize and steal someone's home, make laws that only protect you, then get upset when they want to move back in. Talking about, we need to protect our borders. Most of you never even met a Mexican American, and if you have, they're probably doing a job that you would never want to do anyway. These ain't criminals. They're snatching up students and nurses and builders and farmers, electricians and plumbers. They got fucking armored vehicles pulling up on line cooks. You're separating mothers from their children and telling people who've been here for decades to just go and start a life somewhere else because you're uncomfortable. In their land. You just took their shit and was even too lazy to change the names. It's still San Francisco, San Diego, San Bernardino, Ventura, Calabasas, Rancho Cucamonga. But it's all in the name of law, right? Well, hanging people was law. Owning people was law. Segregation was law. Jim Crow, mass incarceration, redlining, stop and frisk. Law. Just because it's written don't make it right. You know Adolf had laws too. It's funny how you want people to follow the rules when they only benefit you. So let me get this straight. A man who was found guilty of committing 34 felonies is turning our troops against people who committed a civil violation. Being undocumented is a civil violation, not a felony. So who you put in office is far worse than any of these folks out here just trying to build a life in America. But y'all let him slide because he's white. I'm here in LA and not a single person died during these protests. 5 people died when they stormed the Capitol and those thugs were pardoned. Can you imagine if black and brown people stormed the Capitol? We wouldn't make it onto the fucking lawn before we got slaughtered. You naggers are all savages. You're tearing up property. Are you telling me that an insured Apple store or Louis Vuitton store is more important than the historic Capitol building of the United States? At least when black and brown people riot, it's for survival of civil rights. White America will burn a whole city down because their team won the World Series. So to all my brown brothers and sisters, coming from a people who's been fighting on the front lines for over 400 years, sacrificing our bodies so that Muslims and Asians and Africans and Indians and brown people can live a comfortable life in America, please realize that we are tired. A bit of advice. There is not a word that you can say to make those racists feel compassion because they do not view you as their equal. So keep protesting and going as hard as you can. And to the colonizers who agree with Mr. Trump, let me ask you a question. If all of your land is stolen and someone told you to go home, where would you go?
So we recently had my son's second birthday at a cute little shop. It was like an ice cream shop in our town. And everything was going well until it wasn't. Just for reference, this happened in Norton, Massachusetts. And it has nothing to do with the business. It has nothing to do with the owners. When we brought this to the owner's attention, they were very apologetic. They have been reaching out to us. They've been wanting to make things right on their end for what had happened. But we encountered some racism at my son's second birthday party. And the individual who we experienced this with was this gentleman right here. Not even sure if he's as much of a gentleman, but this is who we're going to be talking about today. So at the start of my son's birthday party, we were informed that the AC was broken, but they had fans running. Not a big deal. We got creative. It is what it is. It was a hiccup. Guests started arriving. Everyone was having a great time. So was my son. They have a pig, chickens, and a goat that the kids can feed. So we were enjoying our time, feeding the animals, and just overall having a good time. So part of the party package, they gave us 10 bags of animal feeds, one for each child that attended, and 10 kitty ice creams. So part of that, we have to take the orders of the ice cream and hand over the list to the ladies that work there, which is what I did. I should also mention that when we arrived, one of the original girls who was helping us, she was very helpful. She let us know that if we had any questions or any concerns, we could reach out to her. By the time it came to me providing them with the order of ice creams from our guests, there was a little bit of a shift change, and I noticed that the original girl who had helped us out, she came out to our area of the party, and she was talking to one of our guests who they are very friendly with. They're friends, they go to school together and whatnot. I go inside after taking all the orders, and I give the orders to the ladies that work there. I'm sorry, actually, it was my husband who gave them the order after I had taken them. I went inside to go grab the ice creams. I went to go let them know, we're done cutting the cake, can we please have the ice creams? Okay. Mind you, I was also going back inside because someone needed a bottle of water, so I went to go grab a bottle of water, and I noticed that in the area where we originally had the tables and our food and whatnot set up, there was this man hanging out, fixing the TV, playing around with it. I don't know. I just thought he was a worker there too, or the owner. I'm not sure. Never met the owners prior to booking the event. So they hand me the first 12 ice creams. I go out. I hand them out to all of our guests. I go back inside, grab the rest of the ice creams, go back out, hand it to our guests, and then bring back the tray inside. All they did was scoop up the ice cream. I took the order and I served them. Afterwards, I asked my husband, can you please go inside to pay them for whatever left we needed to pay? We need to pay for the remainder of the function room, as we only submitted the deposit, and we also had to pay for the extra ice creams that we had ordered that was not part of the original package. Afterwards, my husband did so. Then we were just mingling outside, and I noticed the time, and some of our guests were leaving, and I wanted to make sure everyone got goodie bags. So it's getting close to the cutoff time that we need to start cleaning up. I went inside, and one of the workers told me, you know you have until 5. Yes, I'm very much aware, which is also why I'm inside. One of our guests heard this comment. It came off a little rude. They were making us feel rushed. I comprehend that we needed to get out of there at a certain time. Understandable. However, I'm an adult. I'm managing the time. I tell my husband, can you come inside, help me clean up? He brings some of his friends. We start cleaning up. The whole place is spotless. Okay. We go back out, and we're just talking to some of our guests. And this particular worker and her father started coming outside. I thought they were going to come and talk to us about something, bring it to our attention. I'm not sure. This man right here and his daughter proceed to say, thank you for the tip. She really appreciates the tip. Thank you for the tip that you didn't leave. Our guests heard this, okay? I had a cash tip I was going to give to them at the end, but they weren't patient enough for it. So this rubbed our guests the wrong way. Some of them ended up leaving because of this comment. So then I look at my husband, I was like, maybe it's just time for us to go. Obviously, they're feeling some type of way here. So we pack up to go. All of our guests are starting to leave anyways as well. We're just packing our last minute things up. And then I'm telling my husband more of like what the interaction was like. And he's like, you know what, I'm gonna go inside and say something. I wasn't here for that part. I was outside at our vehicle with our son in the car waiting for my husband. My husband comes back and he tells me I went inside. And I asked this man, can I talk to you for a second? He says, sure, what's up? And he tells him, I don't appreciate you making rude comments to my wife about not leaving a tip. And he's like, well, you didn't leave a tip. And he started to get argumentative with my husband. And my husband said, why would we leave a tip if all they did was scoop up the ice cream? This gentleman proceeds to state that we had made the first worker cry, and that is what his daughter is reporting to him. He's going to believe his daughter. And my husband tells him, you mean the girl who was extremely accommodating, super helpful, and went above and beyond for us? That girl? That's who we made cry? And he said, well, I'm going to believe my daughter. So my husband proceeds to tell him, well, I'm going to leave a tip for you as the owner of the business. And this man tells him, no, I'm not the owner of the business. So my husband said, oh, even better. So you're a nobody. So here's a tip. Don't be a dick. My husband admits probably not the best choice of words, but in the moment, he was angry. He leaves. We leave all together. And then we contact some of our guests, just kind of telling them what just happened. And our guests told us, well, that man, because they thought he was the owner, didn't want to bring it to our attention just right away. He said to his daughter, after making the tip comment to us, that they should just call ICE on us. This obviously did not sit well with any of us. I'm a Latina and Cape Verdean, so some of my family members, yes, we don't speak English, and that's fine. Honestly, it would have been comical if he were to call ICE on us, and he would have looked like an idiot to find out that we were all U.S. citizens. So I don't know who would be laughing more in his face. Regardless, it didn't sit well with us. This has left a sour taste in our mouth. It was just supposed to be my son's second birthday. We were looking forward to this. We planned this whole birthday party out for him. Overall, my son had a blast. He enjoyed his time. That's the most important thing. However, his comment was unappreciated. And we brought this up to the business owners. They were very apologetic. They didn't even know how to respond because they mentioned that this is not how they want to represent their business. And we do appreciate that. I'm also going to attach some of the messages from the first worker who was there, who stated how lovely we were, and she was also very apologetic for her coworker and her father's reaction to a tip. So here's the first message. You can pause to read. And here is the second one. Again, pause to read.
Latinos, we got a lot of anti-black racism in our community, and we usually let it slide because it's our family saying this racist shit. And I'm gonna need y'all to start calling out your family members, because all you Latinos seem to forget that we Latinos also have black ancestors. We also have ancestors who were slaves in Latin America, who came from Africa. Just because you are not an Afro-Latino does not mean you do not have African ancestry. Black people are our family. We gotta stop the racist bullshit and start working together.
Ooh, this video finally popped up on my For You page, so let's talk about it. So Pretty Lady made a video where she was asking the Mexican American community why they felt comfortable saying the N-word. And she was really respectful in the video. She was genuinely asking, I don't understand why you all think that it's okay for you to say the N-word. Can somebody explain to me why y'all think it's okay to say the N-word?
Black?
Yes, call us out. However, the problematic side of the Mexican American community did not feel the same way that I did. And as the problematic side of our community normally does, they completely gaslit the issue and focus on something completely different. And things like, once again, Mexicans are taking all the heat. And a million people saying racist things like, why are y'all messing with the street vendors? How about you stop messing with the street vendors first? So they completely disregarded her very valid point and chose to be racist and attack her instead. And this happens all the time whenever the Mexican community gets called out for the problematic behavior. They love to deflect the blame, gaslight the issue, and then play Oppression Olympics. So instead of pointing the finger and saying they're racist too, how about we focus on the racism in our community first?
Colorism is real in the Afro-Latino community. And it's not all, but a lot of Latinos have this self-hate and this colorism attitudes toward each other and towards black Latinos. And I'm not talking about African Americans. I don't know why the freak y'all keep commenting, but I'm talking about Afro-Latinos, mama huevo. You know how many times light-skinned Latinos would see me and then start to talk shit about me, and then when I respond to them, they want to be my friend and be shocked and scared and shit. Do you want to know what it's like to be followed around a store in Latin America? You know what it's like to meet your girlfriend's mother or grandmother, and they mad because you black and they want their daughter to date a light-skinned Latinos to mejor la raza, or tell them not to have kids with my beautiful self, to have kids with a white man or a lighter skinned man? If not,
acknowledge the anti-blackness in our community.
Story time. Okay, so I am a Medina, and every Christmas, Thanksgiving, all the big family get-togethers that we'd have, you know, there would always be the Ramirez's and the Castillos and the Medinas, and we'd all be like hanging out having a wonderful time. But there was always talk of these cousins we just don't talk to, we don't associate with. They were the Espinosas. I didn't grow up with them, I never really met them, I didn't know why. Finally, I'm about 15 or 16 and I asked my abuelita, I'm like, why don't we ever talk to the Espinosas? What is it about the Espinosas that we don't talk to them? She tells me, well, mijo, it's because they're black. Like dead ass, that was the entire reason we didn't talk to a whole section of our family, was because they were black. She would even describe it as they chose to be black, as opposed to being Mexican. My abuelita also married a white man and then was still against black and white couples mixing. Anti-black Latinidad is real.
The best example of how anti-black the Latinx community can be and is that the Dominican Republic and Haiti is on the same island, but only the Dominican Republic is considered Latin America, to most people at least. Like, it's only been in the past few years that I realized that since I'm Haitian American, I am also Afro-Latinx. In the way, it doesn't even sit right with me because I've never been considered that by the Latinx community is wild. Like, even on our island of Hispaniola, the anti-blackness, the racism, the colorism is wild, and I don't know, like, it literally blows my mind.
Latinos, if you or anybody in your family use these terms, ay, salió blanco el niño, ay, dañaste la raza porque te casaste con un negro, y ese pajón, ay, tú sí tienes pelo malo, ay, qué negrito, negrita fina, then they are perpetuating racism within the Latino community. These terms are all tied to the love of whiteness and Eurocentric beauty and history. If you're saying this or your family members are saying this, they are projecting the self-hate that they have within themselves. The fact that you want your grandchild to come out white speaks volumes of how much you hate blackness. The fact that you could call a morenita fina speaks volumes of what you would think of a morenita that doesn't have European features. Stop using those phrases. They create insecurity, invoke racism, and just helps to divide us. Just because your parents used it doesn't mean it's right.
Latino saying the N-word, let's talk about it. Because growing up in California, specifically LA, you have the people who understand why you shouldn't say it. What's the point of you saying it? You're not supposed to say it. That is not yours for you to say. And then those that just throw it around like a good morning. This morning I saw a video of Jenny69, who was canceled, by the way, having beef with Alan Ice, and this is very Latino coded. And she said, like, I don't want to talk about him. Me and that are done or fell out, whatever the case may be. And I'm just like, no mames. That's what we're doing? And I mean, granted, she's a Trumper, so I shouldn't be surprised. But the ignorance, and seriously, like, I just want to take this moment to tell Latinos that is not ours to say. That is not our word to say. Leave it alone, drop it. That just how we have words that we don't want other people to say to us, we cannot be throwing this thing around like that. Like, that is not ours. Stop it.
And when my cousins were born light-skinned, they were treated better, way better. I mean, when hizo gente pa acá, because we're dark-skinned, we were kind of pushed to the side. Quítate pa allá, pinche negro. It's because psychologically, we're taught heavenly and angelic, beautiful, worthy is all white. Everything that's worthless is dark. I hated myself so much growing up because I was dark. You know what I used to do to anger my mother? Because she was ashamed that she had a dark-skinned kid. She was dark too. My mom was dark. My father was dark. So all her kids were Indios like me. Because of that, all of the other cousins are light-skinned. So her siblings, because they married white people, they ended up having light-skinned kids. Dang, I ended up with all the ugly kids. So to piss her off, I took my shirt off and I stood in the sun to get darker because I knew it would piss her off. That's what I did. You see how ugly it is to be dark? She made me angry. So I'm gonna take my shirt off, I'm gonna get darker. Because when she sees me, she'll be like, ay, pinche negro, quítate del sol. Every time I was in the sun as a kid, she'd be like, get out the sun, you're getting darker. She did not want her kids to get darker. When I was in high school, some girls would walk by and look at me and say, oh, that dude's not a Mexican, he's a black sicken. Okay? If I look like this, I'm not Mexican. So what is a Mexican then? What is a Mexican supposed to look like? White? Right. Why does she think that a Mexican is supposed to look white? When you turn on Univision, what do you see? White. That is what is teaching us that is a Mexican. That represents Mexico and Mexicans. Is white people with blue eyes. You see? When you watch novelas, any TV show in Spanish, what color are they? White. In the background, you see some dark-skinned people. Servants. Basically slaves. Those are not considered Mexican. Growing up, you know what I heard? Mexicans say, él no es mexicano, él es un indio. You see what's going on here? You begin to feel what? Hateful. Perfect answer. And because you want nothing, it's easy for you to what? To not care. Why should you care? My mom, she was so hateful toward herself. She used to buy whitening cream. Cream that you put on your skin and it makes you lighter. She would bleach her hair blonde. She was desperately trying to look white. Because this is a sin. This is bad. I had a mother who every time she talked to me, when she talked to me, it was spiteful, with so much anger. And I noticed a lot of time when she talked to my cousins who were light-skinned, she talked to them very kindly. What did that make me feel inside? I'll never be able to be light-skinned, so I'm gonna be a piece of crap for the rest of my life. That gave me the fuel to say, what am I even trying? My own mom thinks I'm ugly, I'm worthless. She thinks she's worthless. She thinks she's worthless so much that she's whitening her freaking skin and she's bleaching her hair because she doesn't want to look like this.
Hey there, did you know that I am Colombian? A lot of people can't tell that from looking at me, and few people who can tell that I'm some sort of Latin or Hispanic can successfully guess my country of origin. Actually, I identify as Afro-Colombian due to the fact that I have both indigenous and African diasporan ethnic markers in my composition. The Afro-Latin identity is a complex one for many reasons, but one of them is because while it is a category of blackness, it retains the social and cultural markers of Latin and Spanish-speaking countries. And because many Latin and Spanish-speaking countries exercise discrimination in the form of colorism that is tied directly to the Afro-Latin identity, many Afro-Latin communities find it difficult to be able to achieve and maintain visibility and social political support. For For me, it's doubly difficult because I was raised by a white Irish Catholic family, and so getting into the history and the political education surrounding Afro-Latin communities is something that I have to work on every day. Which means you non-Black Latin people who navigate those spaces regularly have absolutely no excuse to continue discriminating against Black folk of any kind, but particularly Black folk who are fighting for justice, equity, and liberation.
Hey, fellow Latinos, I'm not saying it's okay or right that Black people are like, no, let them fend for themselves. I mean, honestly, it is okay, but I'm not saying like, yes, let's do that, because unity is what helps us. But also, like, I know it's not supposed to be transactional. I just need you guys to start thinking, because you guys are like, you know, all gung-ho, active out there, unified together in the streets now. But where were you when the George Floyd protests were? I personally was out there with my friends who were Asian, Pacific Islander, Mexican, and Puerto Rican, and then I'm Mexican myself, and a white husband. We were out there, okay? And I've gotten comments from people in my community, people in my family, who have been like, well, you think you're Black. What about me? What about my content? What about the way I speak, the way I act? What about you makes you think that I think I'm Black? Oh, because I advocate for Black people too, as much as I advocate for my people? It shouldn't be transactional. You shouldn't have to have a dog in the fight to care. You should just have basic empathy. You should just care about people. You see a sad story, oh, you cry. You want to help out however you can. You guys see that all the time. You see a puppy in danger, oh, let's rescue all the puppies. Why is it so hard to do with humans? Black people don't owe us anything. But even one of the major interviews going around about the guy whose girlfriend was taken because they were just recording, in that, there's a Black man who's in the background, and he's like, si se puede. He's out there. He has nothing to gain from this. So think about that. Don't go back to the anti-Blackness. Learn and stop saying the N-word. Do that. Stop saying the N-word and humble yourself. If Black people tell you something's offensive, change it. Change it and don't become defensive.
You just have no purpose.
Okay, this video is for like people of color, Hispanic people, Indian people, I don't care. If you're not white, let me know if you can relate to this.
So she's
here in Central Florida, like I cannot stand it for many reasons, but one of them is because lately I've just been noticing how I can feel the racism here. And let me know if this happens to you. I would be in line in Publix, and the cashier would be like the person in front of me. They'll be having a conversation with them. Like, how are you? How's your day going? Oh, that's real nice. I'm next in line, and they will not say a word to me. I'm telling you, they won't even say, hello, how are you? Here's your cash. Goodbye. Have a good day. Like, it's just dead silence. And then I leave, and then I can hear them, the person behind of me, they're like, hey, how are you? Like, okay, I don't need a conversation out of a stranger, but like the basic customer service, like they will not give you. Another thing that I notice is like with white people is like, say if I'm in the store or like I'm anywhere, and say if they were about to like cut me off walking, they don't even, and like I like stop for them, they don't even stop to be like, oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Like, they're so entitled here. Like, they will just, like, look at you like, yeah, you better stop and, like, keep moving. And New Yorkers, this video is not for you either, because I know y'all don't speak to each other, but, like, here in Florida, we do. I mean, at least we're supposed to, but. One last thing, and let me know if you guys feel this too. I will be walking down the street, and I'm a pedestrian. They're supposed to stop for me. Black people stop for me all the time to let me cross. White people will keep it moving, and if you get hit, let's see who's gonna win the lawsuit. Like, they don't stop for black people, and they only stop for white people that are crossing the street.
Now guys, welcome back. We've seen voices rising saying that they should stop judging each other by the skin tone, because we cannot fight racism outside if they allow it inside. The action of few Latinos and words affect all of them. So they are calling for people to wake up and stop judging people based on their skin color, because that's a natural stuff. This isn't just racism, you know, it is accountability, it is awareness, it is push for change. And this movement is spreading so fast Both online and in real life, Latinos are holding each other accountable, educating each other, and standing together against racism. Now, this message is very clear. Unity and equality starts within the community itself. So if Latinos decide that they want to be united with the black people, it should start from the in-house. Keep their house in order. How many are saying that they should start from inside their house first? How many are saying that this movement is not bad, but for us to accept, let them start with their own community first? Because we have black people within the Latinos. You know, this movement is being led by young Latinos. They have taken charge. They are now confronting internal biases, pushing for inclusivity and demanding respect for all. They know that change starts and spread outwards, and they are not backing down anytime, any day, or any minute. They are so furious and sending warning. There is no more silence in Latino community. There is no more excuses. The only message is stop racism. That is it. Stop racism in our neighborhood. Stop racism within the Latino communities and in their hearts. So, for us to stop this racism, we should start today. You know, start now. Take charge. And with that, racism is gonna end. So guys, thanks so much for watching this video. And of course, if you love being black, and of course, if you wanna be more darker, please subscribe. Subscribe for more.